Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to tackle a really profound, ancient formula for something we all think about, but honestly rarely define with absolute clarity. We are talking about human worth. Today, we're looking at a blueprint passed down through the centuries that actively measures the value of a human life through three distinct lenses: wisdom, devotion, and a concept known as dharma.
Seriously, think about this for just a second. What is the true measure of your legacy? Is it simply leaving behind a genetic footprint? Is it the wealth you managed to accumulate? Or is it something, well, far more intangible? This isn't just some modern existential crisis we're dealing with. This is a universal human anxiety that has literally kept leaders and parents awake at night for thousands of years.
And ancient wisdom actually confronts that anxiety head-on. There's this foundational Sanskrit shloka or verse that states, "What use is a cow that neither gives milk nor calves? Similarly, what is the purpose of a son born who is neither learned nor devoted?" So the central thesis here is a massive paradigm shift. True legacy is measured not by mere biological existence, but by the active cultivation of wisdom and moral devotion. Basically, you don't just inherit a legacy by existing, you have to forge it.
To truly grasp this blueprint, here is our roadmap for today. We'll cover 1. The royal legacy anxiety. 2. The unproductive cow metaphor. 3. Vidvan, unstealable wealth. 4. Baktimman, the moral anchor. 5. The moon versus the stars. And finally, 6. Forging a true legacy.
Section 1. The Royal Legacy Anxiety, a Historical Panic.
You see, this philosophy didn't just pop up in a vacuum. It was completely foundational to classical Indian anthologies of statecraft and ethics. Think texts like the Panchatantra, the Hitopadesha, and Chanakya Niti. The reality behind all these texts was an agonizing royal anxiety. Kings like Sudarshana of Pataliputra and Amarasakti literally obsessed over this maxim because, well, they were panicking over their unlettered, wayward sons. They had these massive empires to pass on, but biological heirs who totally lacked the character to rule. This desperation pushed them to seek out masters of statecraft to fundamentally transform their kids. They realized that biology without character is a profound liability.
Section 2. The Unproductive Cow Metaphor. Failure of Duty.
So the crucial point here is how ancient Indian philosophy viewed utility. It wasn't just about economics at all. It was about fulfilling your role in the universe. This linear equation on screen makes it incredibly clear. You start with the Denu, the cow. She's the ultimate symbol of selfless giving and the provider, requiring minimal upkeep. Then you have Dugda, the milk, the sustenance she provides, which supports the whole family structure and sacred rituals. And this leads directly to dharma, your cosmic duty. In this framework, material output equates directly to spiritual duty. It's a straight line.
And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when that system completely breaks down. Failing dharma means an entity consumes resources without producing sustenance. Whether it's an unproductive cow eating the village's grass without giving a drop of milk, or an uncultivated lineage living off royal wealth without providing any real leadership, the diagnosis is exactly the same. It is a fundamental failure to uphold the social order. I mean, it's harsh, but it perfectly frames why character cultivation is a cosmic necessity, not just a nice-to-have.
Section 3. Vidvan, unstealable wealth, our first pillar. The text defines the first pillar as Vidwan. Now, this isn't just about, passing a test. It signifies someone who is learned, wise, and highly perceptive. It requires the active, ongoing cultivation of the intellect. They actually refer to this as Guptam Dhanam, or invisible wealth. Think about how profound that is for a second. Learning is literally the only treasure you possess that cannot be stolen by thieves. It gives supreme benefits, and unlike physical gold or land, it actually increases when you distribute it to others.
But the ancient scholars also had a pretty sharp sense of humor about what happens when you lack this invisible wealth. The Chanakya Niti offers this really striking image. An unlearned person shines not in an assembly, like a heron among swans. We can all picture that, right? That painful awkwardness of being totally out of place in a cultivated room. In fact, the text goes so far as to warn that parents who fail to educate their children are essentially acting as their enemies, basically abandoning them to be that awkward heron in a room full of swans.
Section 4. Baktimman, the moral anchor. The second pillar.
Here's the thing. Intellect without a moral compass, it easily degrades into mere cunning. And that is exactly where Baktimman comes in. This signifies one who is devoted, principled, and firmly anchored in virtue. This is the moral grounding that gives your capability its direction. The framework is actually super simple. Vidvan, which is capability and wisdom, plus Baktimman, which is morality and devotion, equals true humanity. You absolutely must have both.
To really drive this home, the sources use this unforgettable, highly visceral metaphor. They argue that basic survival instincts, eating, sleeping, self-preservation, we share those entirely with animals. It's virtue and devotion that elevate biological life. Without Baktimman, a person is described quite literally as a tailless and hornless beast who merely burdens the earth. Wow, right? They return straight back to the idea of the consumer who provides zero sustenance, a biological entity that just completely fails to achieve true humanity.
Section 5. The Moon versus the Stars. Quality over quantity. I absolutely love this one as it perfectly captures the ancient preference for singular quality over plural mediocrity. The quote essentially reads, "Better one virtuous sun than 100 fools." Think about an entire sky packed full of 100 stars. That represents mere biological quantity. All those stars combined cannot actually dispel the darkness of the night, but a single brilliant moon, it effortlessly shatters the darkness. The moon represents that one disciplined, virtuous mind, someone equipped with both Vidvan and Baktimman. Quality dramatically outweighs quantity when it comes to the impact of your legacy. Section 6. Forging a True Legacy. The Illuminated Court. A matrix for self-evaluation.
This matrix organizes everything we've covered today into two very distinct roads. On the left side, we have the default path, which is based purely on biological descent. Its nature is completely passive and unearned. Its focus is on quantity, lineage pride, and mere existence. And the result? According to the texts, it just creates a burden on society, the unproductive cow or that awkward heron among swans. But then on the right, we have the dharma path, the path of cultivated character. Its nature is active, it's earned, and it requires deep, disciplined effort. Its focus is strictly on quality, wisdom, and devotion. And the result is a legacy that actually provides societal sustenance. It creates that moon that dispels darkness.
So the closing insight from our sources is absolutely crystal clear. True legacy is never, ever inherited through biology alone. It has to be actively forged by equipping the next generation. Or, ourselves, with that invisible wealth of knowledge and the unbreakable moral anchor of devotion. So as we wrap up today's explainer, I'm going to leave you with the exact same question that kept those ancient kings awake at night. Are you leaving behind mere biology, or are you doing the disciplined work to forge an illuminated legacy? Something to really think about. See you next time.